Hey everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at Marvel Battle Lines, and we're going to be looking at some of the updates that have gone on since the new year. So first we have a new set of login rewards, or slightly older ones, that are carrying over. So the monthly is logging in for 28 days. At the 28th day you're going to get 50 gems, and you are going to get a premium card pack from the new set of cards, which is called the Arrivals. The weekly for the week is a card a day, with 2 being on the 6th day and a more rare card on the 7th. And that runs from the 3rd to the 17th. So that's not too bad. I mean, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 7. So 7 days in a 14-day window. I'm sure everybody can do that. So that's not particularly too bad over there. For the event portal, we have a new event, which is to save Rocket. And you have a helper event to it where if you do it up to 15 times, you're going to get escalating rewards, which is Yondu and Rocket cards. And there's 10 days remaining, so for me to get up to 15, you have to make sure you do it 3 every single day, which, if there's 10 days remaining, means you can get up to 30, so that shouldn't be too hard to do. I found this even easier than the last one with Black Cat and the Christmas gifts. So for the Black Cat and the Christmas gift ones, if you remember, basically when you hit her, she drops gifts, and you just have to collect 2 gifts and you win the match. This is more straightforward, where it's just straight damage to Yondu over there, except for the fact that he uses those Hydra EMP bombs, which can get annoying. But first, Rocket comes in, blows up just about everybody, and sets you with a piece on the board to begin a battle line. And as you can see, we're just 1 away from it. And he counts as the 3rd of Yondu's damage, so you don't have to do that much more to actually get Yondu out of there. This is my Black Widow deck, which runs a lot of cheapies because she has that bonus of giving hit points to characters through the shield program. I'm going to go ahead and go for crystals over here. Alright, we've got removal, which is good.
About time I got to do something.
So that's a warning about the EMP coming, so I'm going to go ahead and actually we'll get rid of him because we've got a little bit more damage from Cottonmouth. And then we'll drop one of my favorite zero-cost cards in the game, the double Hydra machine gunner.
You wanted action, right? Well, here it is.
This is a very, very handy card. This is my... the Hydra Squad Leader is probably my favorite zero-cost card in the entire game. He's somebody that is really awesome to drop after you've done a removal with his 0 cost and everything. Gonna continue to get crystals over here since we don't have removal. We've got a potential 3-way over here. So there's the EMP bomb. Most of the characters should survive it.
When we get a chance, we have to take it.
So I'm going to hit Yondu with my highest cost card right now, which is a big-ass Groot. And that's it. As you can see, that is really, really easy. Yondu does not have a lot of hit points, and he just doesn't really seem to have any tricks up his sleeve. He plays a pretty straightforward, very basic deck.
Mission completed.
And I'll go through it one more time with my Black Panther deck, which is pretty much the one that I use for the Spec Ops, where you have to not let the enemy leader get an attack in. This deck has a lot of damaging cards, damaging characters, and a lot of removal. So it's a lot of good board control in this deck. I recently swapped somebody out and put a Man-Ape in. And he's pretty handy. We'll go for removal over here. And there's my Hydra Squad leader. Cloak and Dagger has also become one of my favorite cards. She is relatively inexpensive, and she does a good amount of damage, and as just a straight character, she's got a lot too. We are a little behind here.
I fear no man, no woman, no creature of darkness.
I think I'll drop... Actually, you know what I'll do? We'll do this. Sometimes it's really easy to forget that
If I do not land the first
making a move with a character on the board might be the best move of the turn. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I look at my deck and I'm like, man, I don't have removal, I can't make a battle line, and all I need to do is just move something into position.
one must know when the time is right
And
to strike.
I keep forgetting about that all the time. This would be probably a really, really good event to run the Doctor Strange card with shielding the characters. If I just dropped a Doctor Strange over there, everybody would have been protected. But
This is the time
this
to
is pretty much the exact same thing that happened last time. The EMPs actually wind up helping me more than it helps Yondu.
moment of triumph.
I actually own the Rocket card, I just don't use him in any decks right now. And a lot of you guys have probably seen some early videos on this, and maybe even seen some of my early videos on it and been like, I don't know that this game looks fun. It looks like a Connect 4 kind of game. Like, what's Tic-Tac-Toe Connect 4? It's actually, as I've said in a lot of videos recently, deeper than that. I tend to do dailies that are just about the Spec Ops and the buying the card and doing the daily and everything. However, I tend to not do the PvP ones. And with the daily ones, there's a real big variety in what you can do with the dailies. For example, I did a video on the Duel in the Haze one recently, which is the one where you only have one hit point, and basically it's sudden death. The first person to score a battle line attack wins, because both leaders are at 1. You need a different deck for that than, say, the one where you have those AIM scientists on the board, and if you kill them, you wind up getting a you wind up getting them bombing you, and you can't take too many of them. That plays very differently than the one I mentioned prior, and it also plays very differently from, say, the Odin one. The Odin one is very, very different from all of them because he plays extremely heavy cards. And you get a ton of crystals per round. So you don't want to play light cards on that one. You want to play extremely expensive cards. And this is going to be a little bit of a problem here, so I think I will move Rocket up to the 2.
What a feeling. Give me those.
I think everybody except for Maria should survive the bomb.
Here we go.
And see, there's Doctor Strange. I just didn't get a chance to play him when I wanted to. We'll drop... Hopefully we'll get a diagonal from Misty to Green Goblin, which I think we should, yeah. Alright. So here's why I like the Hydra Scout Leader so much. He's really good post-removal because of that 0 cost, and he's got a pretty high attack. So like I was saying, the Odin one, you have so many crystals to work with, you can run a really expensive deck, and he runs high-powered cards, so a little cheap removal deck like my Black Panther one doesn't cut it. So it's not just a simple checkers slash connect 4 kind of thing, or a tic-tac-toe. You really have to learn what you're fighting against. And when you do the spec ops and everything, and you have that condition of don't let the enemy make a battle line, again, that means you need a lot of board control cards. And that's really what this game is about. It changes things. Now, here are the other events going on. So until the 16th, we have a maximum of acquiring 700 cosmic resources in all of the game modes that you play. This one's going to be tough. I don't necessarily know that I would finish it. You're going to get gold and you're going to get experience points for it, which is okay. Here we have another event which runs to the 16th. Field training, always be resourceful. And you have up to 3 notches on this one. And it's use 0, 1, and 2 cosmic fragment level cards up to 150 times each, with the 2 cosmic fragments only being 100. So I'm about to hit my first tier, and then eventually you wind up with a, looks like a pack over here. This is another one that could be tough. However, the 0s and 1s are really, really easy to go through. It's the 2s that are a little bit tougher. This one is the life damage one. So basically when you knock a character out, some of that damage that you do to the character for the killing blow winds up damaging the controller's health, as you see from that little example. A somewhat okay starting hand, having Diamondback. Diamondback is one of my cheapies in this deck for some, you know, early damage. It's not a lot. Diamondback does not hit particularly hard.
Ready to rock.
Unfortunately, there's no crystals near her, so dropping Misty is not the best thing. This is a little bit of a waste of Nick Fury that he goes out with nobody to buff, but, you know, sometimes that's what happens. He will survive that. Good.
Here we go.
Put a crystal up here. And see, this is a thought over here. Like, I could have gone for this spot and try to work towards my own battle line, or I could have blocked theirs.
I have to make every move count.
So there is, believe me, there's thought that goes into this game. You know, do you go for a crystal? Do you go for your battle line? Do you block the enemy's battle line? Do you need to switch cards?
Here we go.
Alright, so, Green Goblin deals 218 by throwing a pumpkin with the lowest attack. So the lowest attack right now is her, and it's probably going to splash damage to put him really, really close to death. She is over here near that slot, which means Misty will get a bonus from it. May as well go for the battle line.
Time to take a shot.
However, I've now opened myself up for a battle line over here, and it actually is going to be a kind of a rough one. Getting that Hellcarrier is pretty nice. This battle line actually is going to hurt Mordo quite a bit, because I'm going to Hellcarrier this. This is a perfect setup for a Hellcarrier.
I love it when a plan comes together.
And you see all those deaths over there cause damage to him. And I'm going to move on to this
What
to get a
feeling.
2-pop.
Give me those.
So unless he disrupts my battle line, this is going to be a win for me.
Ready to rock.
May as well just drop him on the field. This is over.
I'll take all I can get.
So this is what I would essentially call my main deck. It's obviously the first leader I ever had and the first deck that I ever built, and this is just basically like my all-rounder. The Black Widow one is super cheap. I have a Thor one that's for the Odin daily, and Black Panther, that deck with the a lot of direct damage and a lot of on summon damage characters is all about control. This guy over here, let me tell you this. This is a rough, it's not a daily, it just shows up on the weekends. The shield training bot always manages to pull exactly what it needs out of its ass. As you can see, I was 2 of 3. I did do it, but God, it's a pain. I really hate that bot, and I'm glad I don't have particularly any dailies or quests to do him, because that bot kind of doesn't mess around and seems to get really lucky. So the rest of my dailies are trials, challenge modes, win challenge modes. So here's a double. That's interesting. Play 2, win 2, play 2, and of course reach level 40. In the shop, let's take a look at what we have here. So the $10 package deal for me is a Gamora, Black Mamba, who's been showing up a lot for me lately, Ulysses Claw with his modern look from the movie, with the diagonal blast, inexpensive card, not the best stats. Medusa also does a diagonal blast. Devil Dinosaur, all enemies on the same horizontal line by stopping them, and that figures that one to 2. And a Kree Bomber with pretty decent stats. May as well get my freebie while I'm here. By the way, you don't have to purchase a card for the purchase daily. The freebie will count. Looks like my Colleen's ready for an upgrade. Combined Willpower. This is an interesting card that I have yet to use. Drain the hit point of all characters below 385 to 1. Add half that amount drained to the attack. So this is everybody on the field. So if you had somebody with 200 hit points, they get knocked down to 1, and 100 of those hit points get added to the attack. Interesting card. It works on... Actually, that would be really good for the Odin daily. Because he plays... Now, most of Odin's cards, the hit points are above 385. That won't be as good as I thought. It's kind of like a counter to a mid-tier deck that's not really that great for low powers. It's overkill. But it's not quite powerful enough for the Odin one. So, Cloak is an interesting card over here. When he dies, he just seizes somebody and vanishes them. That's the kind of thing that really is helpful for the Hydra EMP one, where there is the aim scientist with 0 attack, and if you kill them, they blow up. Straight removal doesn't count as a kill, and that also would work good for the Odin daily, where killing them might be tough, but just straight out removing them is the way to go. So here's what my my cards are looking like right now. I also picked up a new leader recently, and I believe it was from completing a chapter. So it was Wasp. 100 additional leader hit points, so not that strong. Action cards that are removed from the game may return to the library at a 15% chance. See, that's interesting stuff, because that, as she is a leader, now means you can build a deck around that. And any of these red bar ones that are removed out, removed from battle, have a chance of coming back. So now all of a sudden, you're playing action decks, and there is a card out there that says something like, when you play an action, something happens. I don't remember what it is, but he's one of my most expensive ones right now. He goes in the Odin Daily. Doctor Strange, Supergiant, Hulkbuster armor with a ton of hit points. He'd make a good flip. If there's like a Hearthstone card out there where you flip the hit points into the attack, that's a really, really good card for that. Make one nearby enemy with the highest attack start recharging. That's a good passive over there. You deal 1870 damage divided to all enemies on the battlefield. This is a good one for the Wasp desk. Having this up multiple times in a fight is just... it's a wombo combo. It's complete overkill. And actually, this one would be good for the Odin Daily, because that is a lot of hit points over there. That's a Thor summoner. Bruce Banner's actually a Hulk summoner to a degree. There's the infamous Pumpkin Bomb from when we were doing the Green Goblin event. I'd like to get that one upgraded. That's a pretty strong card. Valkyrie, you see the AI using Valkyrie a lot. Essentially, like, she's kind of like a taunt. There's Hellcarrier Strike, which just made a major difference on that last one that I did. Summon a storm that vanishes all characters except for one with more than 600 hit points. Remove this from the battle after use. This is another good one for the Odin Daily. I really need to look at my cards. I think I could actually make a decent Odin Daily deck. There is another card in here similar to what Cloak does. So Falcon is a straight remover, but I don't have Falcon. There is somebody else who does oh yeah, so Blackout is one person who does it. When knocked out, capture the enemy with the highest attack in the same vertical line. Vanish. Also good for the Hydra EMP Daily. Baron Strike is an amazing card. This is such a good card because it almost always takes out 2 cards and is very, very good for early board control. He's somebody who looks like Cloak, and I know I have him. Crimson Hawks. This guy is one of the weakest cards in the Odin Daily, and he's 517, 385. That kind of gives you a bit of a hint there. Shroud, there he is. So I've got 3 cards that basically just outright remove people. That's the kind of thing that you want to do in... Doesn't his face look a little bit like One Punch Man? I've been wondering who it is that he reminds me of, and I figured it's One Punch Man. A recently upgraded card for me with high attack that I put in my 0 cost deck, and I think I even put it in the Black Panther one, is my... There he is, the Outrider Warrior. This one, not a lot of hit points on him, but he's got really, really good attack, similar to the Handmaster Ninja. And my low hit point deck is this one over here. Or I shouldn't say low hit point, low cost. So the Chalice is basically used on Man-Thing because his attack is below 200. When you use the Chalice, it bumps the attack to 132. So it actually is a double benefit for him. If you use it on somebody like Cottonmouth, they're not going to lose a hell of a lot. If it's anywhere like 230 and under, Diamondback would be another good one for it. He doesn't lose that much attack, and really his main thing is just a light pop when he comes in. That's what he's there for. So, and then Groot is basically designed to give extra hit points to the Man-Thing if he's around, or potentially keep Hulk, Yondu alive, etc.
About time I got to
This
do something.
deck, I think... I'm not even too sure what I was designing this deck for. I don't remember. I think I'm probably going to delete it and do a Wasp deck over there, so that we get that sweet action cards coming back. Thor does damage when you move an ally, and there's definitely cards out there that have a good bonus when they move. Gwenpool, no, Squirrel Girl is one of them. Squirrel Girl, if she makes a battle line attack when she moves, she wins the game. And I actually managed to do it once, but it was on the Black Cat event, where that's not how you win a match. I was seeing if I could actually break the game and make me win it without collecting the packages, but no, it definitely forced the 2-package conditional, even though Squirrel Girl made a move and did a battle line. Here's my Spec Ops right now. 1 and 2 are definitely complete. 3 just needs 2 more stars, which is avoiding the battle line attack and defeating it in 1 or fewer. So like for this one, my go-ahead would be Black Panther, because it's really good at avoiding battle line attacks. But the 1 or fewer means you need some high power cards, and it might actually be where Iron Man comes in. Remember, you don't have to get them all in the same one. It's very easily to design a deck for one conditional, get it, and then change your deck up just to get the other. And you get hard mode opened up when you start getting these on normal. Defeat the opponent leader with 1 or fewer. Avoid do not discards from your hand. So again, that's in order to fulfill this one, you may want to make sure that you run a relatively cheap deck, so that you're never caught out with not having enough crystals to do something, or make sure you can always move, so that you don't want to have people recharging. You're just gonna have to skip a turn. Maybe if everybody's recharging and you have cards that use crystal counts that you don't have, you may just have to pass a turn, which I don't think I've even had to do yet, but be prepared for it. And that's where this game, like I said, requires a bit more thinking than you think. The one thing I wish the game would do, though, would be to have autoplay for campaign missions that you've done. If you want to go back and do a campaign mission, which really there's no need to, you unfortunately have to do a full play. So there you go, folks. There is the New Year event and updates that we've seen to Marvel Battle Lines. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you do get a chance, try the game out. I think you can do several of a comfortable level of dailies in any given day in just about 10 or 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be massively time consuming. So yeah, there it is, guys. Peace out.